There's a quorum. I therefore call our council meeting of the 8th of June come to order. Councillors, I'll start with a prayer. Heavenly Father, grant that we who would seek to serve you may have the wisdom of your Spirit, the guiding of your hand, and the grace to serve together for the prosperity of our city. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. National anthem, please.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. Councillors, item 1, attendance and apologies. Councillor Nick Marshall has asked that I recognise that he'll be about 30 minutes late. He's doing media conference to promote the Surface Festival at Miami during the up-and-coming school holidays. Okay. Leave of absence, you can see Councillor Gates was approved from leave of absence last meeting, so she's not in attendance today. Condolences, 3.1, I go to Councillor Young. No?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, good morning. I was of the understanding this one was going to be deferred until the next meeting when Councillor Gates is here. Councillor Gates knew Mr. Sanford and I do not.
Oh, okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 3.2, Councillor Curtis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that a motion of condolence on the passing of Miss Bonnie Harris and that a message of sympathy be sent to her family.
Seconder, Councillor Hamill. Put motion to you. Or do you want to speak further, or is it?
Oh, yes, please. I can speak to it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bonnie was one of those vibrant and outgoing community members that was seemingly everywhere, with an active passion for anything that had the capacity to bring the community together. She was the fundraising coordinator at the Labrador Kindergarten, a P&C president at Bigger Waters State School, a committee member at the Runaway Bay Rugby League Club, and was heavily involved in the Labrador Rabbits Oztag Club, a social touch player and an active member of the Gold Coast Performance Centre, and an avid surfer and lover of the sea. I sprout that impressive list just off the things I personally knew her for. She was even featured in my last community newsletter where we unveiled plans for the new change room facility at the Runaway Bay Leagues Club. Bonnie leaves behind 2 young children, Sass and Kauai, and her unexpected loss is being felt across numerous community groups, clubs and schools in our division. It's hard to believe we won't see her quintessentially Gold Coast blonde locks and vibrant smile brightening up our many clubhouses that she supported, but we know unequivocally that each has benefited from her presence and infectiously positive outlook.
Thank you. Councillor Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May I be added to the signatures?
Yes, please add Councillor Wilkinson. Councillor, put motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against. Motion carry. Unanimous. Is there any other condolences that's not on the list? We're good? Okay. Item 4, mayoral minute is nil. Confirmation of minutes, we'll go to 5.1. Councillors, I move that the minutes of of 843rd meeting of the Council of the City of the Gold Coast held on Tuesday, 28th of May, 2024 at 10 a.m. be confirmed. Seconder, Councillor Peter Young. Before I take a vote on it, any corrections there, anyone? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, the motion carried. Councillors, the next one, 5.2. Just before I move that, any corrections in that one? So therefore, I move that the minutes of the special meeting of the Council of the City of the Gold Coast held on Thursday, 6th of June 2024 at 10 a.m. be confirmed. Seconder, Councillor Hamill. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried, unanimous. 5.3, councillors on that one. Friday, 7th of June. Any corrections that anyone want to do? Well, I move that the minutes of the special meeting of the Council budget adoption of the City of the Gold Coast held on Friday, 7th of June 2024 at 9 a.m. be confirmed. Seconder, Councillor Patterson. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry, unanimous. Okay. Council, we now go to Mayor's report. First part there, on the Wednesday, I attended the Red Shield appeal, and it's pleasing to see Councillor Tozer, Councillor Curtis, Councillor Taylor, Patterson, Flower, O'Neill and Councillor Doran attend the event at Crown Plaza, Surfers Paradise. 200 plus attendees came together. I know that Councillor Tozer was the MC. You want to add anything further?
Mr. Mayor, I'm really pleased through your generosity and those of who joined us that morning. We raised about $330,000 just that morning, and that brought the total over 25 years to $6.5 million. The work of the Salvation Army is pretty amazing, and the fact that people have got together for a breakfast to start the Red Shield appeal and ultimately raise $6.5 million over 25 years is pretty exciting, and that $330,000 we raised just that morning is pretty special too. It's you know, thank God for the Salvos, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, good. Congratulations for your emceeing as well. Councillor Patterson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to acknowledge Councillor Tozer did a job on behalf of Council, and also to note that Councillor Wilkinson was also there.
Councillor Wilkinson, please add that into my notes, please. Right, Queensland Cabinet meeting. I was invited at the Coomera TAFE. So, of course, I took the opportunity to advocate for major projects on the Gold Coast for the upcoming state budget, which was handed down 11th of June. We welcome the commitment of $2.8 billion for capital works projects, including funding for the Light Rail Stage 3, the 3 new railway stations at Pimpama, Hope Island, Merrimack and Coomera Connector. I also welcome the Treasurer's comments reconfirming the government's ongoing commitment to the Light Rail Stage 4. The budget paper has confirmed that light rail patronage is now up to 11.4 million annual trips. So you wait and see when Stage 3 comes along on there. Councillor Castro might even hop on it. So the public has voted with their feet, and passenger satisfaction is up from averaging 4.3 out of 5, which is an outstanding result for any form of public transport. So here we go. And then I caught up and had a meeting with Minister Leanne Enoch and Minister for the Arts, and took her through our Hotter precinct, and invited her and let her have a look at the Renaissance immersion there. She was very, very impressed, and we talked about film and industry. You put in my notes here: Good Cop, Bad Cop series, Rock, Island Mysteries, and 3 more pre-production with are yet to be announced publicly. Very supportive of the Lyric Theatre and looking forward to see further advocacy there when we get our drawings shovel ready. And so it was a very good meeting. Mayoral Safety Suburb Forum, Councillor Gates, Tozer, Taylor and Patterson was attended as well. We were presentation by Department of Justice and Queensland QPS on domestic and family violence. And QPS gave us an update on anti-hooning measure and crime trends. We also discussed the city's recent Neighbourhood Heroes campaign that ran through April and May, which recognises and celebrates those who contribute to the safety of our city. There were a few familiar organisations, including Jack Breesley's Foundation and ESWAF. I wanted to share the video update, which shows the fantastic work these organisations do. Please play a video for us.
There we go.
All right. Does it work or not?
Here it is.
Well, they just need a bit of guidance, some love and support, and that's what EastWave is all about. Over the last 3 years, we've been able to help over 180 young people. Of the 180, we've got over a 91% employment success rate.
We're a channel of information and advice to community members and a channel back from community members to stakeholders, Queensland Police Service, Council, state government, and sometimes other organisations. Neighbours will know who the Neighbourhood Watch person is if the Neighbourhood Watch group is active, and they'll feel they know where to go, who to talk to, so they'll have that connection.
We're always happy to have a chat with people and welcome them into our space. And we really aim to provide an inclusive environment. We really hope to support people who may be in a vulnerable state when they're out and about. And in doing so, we're enhancing community safety.
I guess it's been really inspiring for me to get people from my school involved, to get my friends involved in things that they wouldn't have otherwise gotten involved in. And so through these little initiatives here and there, we're able to connect with different charities that need that extra chunk of support and give it to them in a bulk amount. Instead of getting these little donations here and there from families throughout the year, in one big hit, I can give them all the stuff that they need to thrive throughout the year.
That's what Eleonora does really well, is we are a school, we're a community school about relationships. We're first and foremost, we're here for the students and our families, and every individual has that right to come to our school and feel safe and supported and be engaged in their learning at every opportunity.
I think it's a whole school and community approach. So it's about parents and the school and the students working together.
The Gold Coast is an amazing place, and it's safer by having Jack's Law obviously there, and the new law that's going to be hopefully getting passed that's coming through, that you can't sell knives to under 18. I just think that it's a beautiful place, and it's safer because of Jack's Law, and it's safer because there's so many other people doing so many great things.
We are so blessed with our neighbourhood heroes. So it's great. It's quite funny. Brett was trying to get a word in. The passion's there, you know. Councillors, then on the 31st of May, Mudgeeraba Chamber of Commerce Business Breakfast. Councillor Tozer was in attendance. This was at Kawila Lodge at Mudgeeraba. It was great, open for discussion on plans and opportunities in the hinterland, particularly relating to natural tourism, which is going to be a key for growth in the hinterland area. And spoke a little bit about Brisbane 2032, because I was freshly appointed onto the Olympic board there, and of course other issues, the usual transport and traffic upgrades. Next one is the Green Heart Master Plan consultation has now started, and every time I visit the Green Heart, I'm so impressed with the magnificence and the size of the project that we've embarking on this journey. And I know it's going to be a 10-year project, but in every great journey starts with a single step, and we've done that. Sea Fire, I launched the Gold Coast Sea Fire Spectacular at Surfers Paradise Beach. The International Fireworks Competition has been held annually since 2012, attract thousands of spectators, and two of the world best pyrotechnics team from Italy and UK competed with the Aussie team as well, and congratulations to Italy who took out the win. And wildlife rescue vehicle donation, I presented to Karen Scott from Wildcare Australia with the keys to a formal city fleet vehicle, which has been converted to an emergency wildlife rescue vehicle. The van will provide critical care quickly to injured, orphan and sick native animals. This is a $100,000 investment by the city into protecting our native wildlife. Wildcare Australia rescue more than 8,000 animals every year, and with this vehicle, a critical addition to enhance the care and management of animals in need. Citizenship ceremony. I think Councillor Doran, you came to one of those. We had 3 going, and 1,050 people became Aussies from 80 different countries. And as part of the ceremony, I speak to our new citizens about what citizenship represents. And citizenship is a common bond uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Those who became citizens enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations. 1, by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people. 2, by sharing their democratic beliefs. 3, by respecting their rights and liberties. And 4, by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. This is the pledge that they take. And take the opportunity to say that racism and hate are not our values. So compassion and upholding human dignity and rights are central value of a strong democracy for Australia. So there is no place now or in the future for anti-Semitism. Next item, Property Council of Australia Gold Coast lunch. Councillor Hamill was in attendance, so he took all the hard questions. The event was held at Star Gold Coast, where I had a conversation with Jess Kerr, Property Council of Australia Queensland Executive Director. It's funny, you're up there making speech, being an expert, and I'm sitting there and seeing Councillor Hamill there, and if I get it right, it's like, yes, keep going. You should have been up there yourself. Yeah, you go, what? We're doing that? Anyway, no, it was good to keep liaison with the community, and they know that we've got a lot of work to do in the planning space, and they're willing to roll up their sleeve and help. So we'll use that. Then I went to Sonia Stratiotto fundraising runway show, and there's Ruth and I among all the Reds, and Sonia celebrated 35 years of her couture fashion line with Charity Runway at RACV Royal Pines. The night was successful, 540 guests, $82,000 was raised. It's for Gold Coast Community Funds, Carers Foundation Australia, St John's Crisis Centre in Surfers Paradise, and Enriching Life Foundation. And Sonia and her daughter Bianca has incredible enthusiasm for their work, and it shows in the success of their brand. I have to say, Councillor Gates was also in attendance. Bleach program launch on the 11th of June. Councillor Wilkinson was there. Councillor Martin was there. Was anyone else there? Okay. We launched the program. This is the 13th year. Bleach will run for 11 days from the 1st of August. Multiple location, North Burleigh, Tarabudgera Valley, Royal Beach and Hodder. 400 plus artists, 50% of those are locals. 30 shows, 110 performances, 8 world premieres and 18 Queensland premieres shows. So love your local, get out there and celebrate the excellence of our local artists. Emergency Service Safari. Yeah, we last Wednesday, First Responders Day, we were recognised the hard-working heroes dedicated to keep up community safety. Got a chance to meet some of these heroes at Avondale Parklands and announced the city's first emergency service safari. And what it is that they've got their trucks and happy to show everything to all the kids and family. The first event went ahead on last Sunday at Coomera, and the Coolangatta Safari will take place on the Saturday, the 29th of June at Queen Elizabeth Park. I encourage all Gold Coasters to check it all out. Sand bypass pipeline pumping. Yesterday I launched the city's new $9.6 million sand pumping system at Surfers Paradise Beach. The new sand transport system is designed to mitigate erosion and help our iconic beaches, especially in the north area. And the most vulnerable part is the narrow neck and Main Beach. And this will move 120,000 cubic metres of sand, and it captures it near the pumping station at the end of the spit, and pump it all the way down. It'll happen between June and will stop at early September. And yesterday I had the opportunity to meet Mayor Tom Sharp from Scenic Rim. Since the election, I've met all 3 neighbouring mayors from Logan and Redlands. So I feel we're having even a closer working relationship this time round with projects that we discuss that really encompassing on our borderlines, and both administration talents will work together. We're looking at any additional tracks or road up in the hinterland area, and also they're keen on nature tourism as well. And I said to them that with the hinterland, we'll continue to keep promoting as the green behind the gold, and so really good. So that's an iconic photo there, the 2 Toms. Anyway, I move that my mayor's report be welcome and noted. Councillors, seconder, Councillor Patterson. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried, unanimous. Item 7, clarification of members, nil. Item 8, business arising from the minutes, nil. Item 9, presentations, nil. Item 10, conflict of interest declarations, nil.
Councillor Gates is away.
Councillor Gates away, okay. We go to item 11.1, governance, administration and finance. I go to Councillor Patterson.
Mr Mayor, I move that the report of the Special Governance, Administration and Finance Committee held on the 3rd of June, covered by recommendation 1, be received.
Second, Councillor Martin. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands.
Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? The Special Governance one?
Yes.
You second it?
Conflict on that item.
Oh, have you?
So,
okay, we'll just pause for a second.
Apologies.
We won't take the votes yet. Let's go to you for conflict of interest.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Apologies. I did raise 2 conflicts in the special governance meeting on the 3rd of June.
It's
on the next one, Mr Mayor.
It's on the next one. Let's have a look.
So it should be item 11.1 in our agenda.
Yep.
Right.
No, it's on the 3rd.
3rd of June.
We're good. Keep going.
The first being for the Community Partnerships Program, Film Fantastic Limited, who was applying for funding. I was formerly the CEO of the entity up until 2023, so I'm voluntarily declaring the conflict out of an abundance of caution. I'm seeking to stay in the room to participate in the matter because I think I'm able to remain impartial and sought for my colleagues at committee. They were resolved that I would stay in the room, so seeking that again today.
Declarations, councillors, on the screen. Procedural motion, you moved it, Councillor Patterson in there, and Councillor Fail, would you still second it? All right. Anyone want to speak against the motion? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried.
One more. Oh,
Is there
I've got one more. Thank you, Mr.
There's
Mayor.
another one, isn't it?
Yeah, same item, Community Partnerships Program. It had to do with my community legal and particularly Mr. George Pharmacist, who was applying for funding, simply that I had a family legal matter where Mr. Pharmacist represented the other side. It was resolved at mediation, but in an abundance of caution, I declared that conflict.
Fair enough.
I seek to stay in the room.
Okay, procedural motion moved by Councillor Patterson, I think. And, yeah, question.
I just wanted to ask, through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't know who Mr. Pharmacist is. Sorry.
My community legal was...
is he one of the directors of that entity?
Treasurer, and he was the one that was presenting the application, so spoke on it.
I knew the other Ross. Yeah, I knew Ross, but not... Yeah, sorry.
Okay, and second there was Councillor Wilkinson. You happy with that? Anyone want to speak against? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Oh, yeah.
You need to call a division, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. It's division. Let's just do that.
Mayor Tate, Councillor Young, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Curtis, Councillor Hemmel, Councillor Fowler, Councillor Wilkinson, Councillor Patterson, Councillor Castra, Councillor Doran, Councillor Tozer, Councillor O'Neill.
Okay. Councillors, for the record only, we already voted on it, so I just wanted to call a division on it so we recorded the names. Show of hands for the one before. This is not a...
Mayor Tate.
Recorded.
Mayor Tate, Councillor Young, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Curtis, Councillor Hemmel, Councillor Fowler, Councillor Wilkinson, Councillor Patterson, Councillor Castra, Councillor Doran, Councillor Tozer, Councillor O'Neill.
Okay. And Councillor Martin, you didn't vote, did you? Did not vote.
Did not vote, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
For both? You didn't vote for both? All right. So there's no other declaration. Back to Councillor Patterson. What do we move it on?
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, Councillor Peter Young.
Sorry. I just want to seek a correction to these minutes.
Oh, okay.
It records on page 3 that I left the meeting at 4:28, which is true, but as the report also shows on page 10, I returned at 4:33. I was here for the remainder of the meeting. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
So we got a... Okay, so it's in there or not?
That's not. We'll get it put in.
We'll get it put in?
CEO will just administratively strike out that I left the meeting at 4:28.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Okay, Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for all the committee members and visitors who attended. It will be one we remember. I have to say, coming into the role of Chair of Governance, a record I did not want to hold was chairing the longest meeting. I value velocity in meetings, but it was a 10-hour and 47-minute meeting. That was because we did have 39 groups that all had minimum of 10 minutes each to speak. So if you think about that, that's 8 hours before anyone takes a break. We were presented by so many well-deserving community groups, and it was quite a challenge for us to consider the budget and how we'd allocate to them. But I certainly thank committee members and also Councillor Young and Councillor Hamill for staying so long for that decision. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how about for next year, we allow 2 days and you can adjourn it and do 2.5 days, just in case. Yes, Councillor Tozer.
It was actually a really good meeting to go to as a visitor, but a lot of the agreements we struck were actually 4-year agreements, and so we may not need a meeting like that next year. It's but I did want to say one thing about the meeting. There was a number of people waiting in the foyer before they came in and presented, and just this week, 2 of those groups who were presenting, one of which was successful and one of which was unsuccessful, have actually worked on a collaboration just because they were waiting in that room. They became familiar with one another, contacted me, and whilst one was unsuccessful, we've actually been able to come up with a solution that is really good. So that this idea of bringing the community groups together for that presentation has resulted in unexpected wins, Mr Mayor.
Beautiful. Councillor Peter Young.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to recognise the fabulous presentations that we had that day from all of the groups that were able to be here. There's some amazing work being done in the city, you know that, we all know that, but it was just fabulous to have that interaction with them. And I want to commend Councillor Patterson on her chairing of the meeting. It was a difficult process. I thought she did very well, and I just wanted to highlight that. Thanks, Mr.
Yes, very good. Did we have a seconder for that? The seconder, Councillor Martin. Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just on the confidential attachment 1, I just wanted to make sure that there is some amounts for Currumbin RSL, there is some amounts for in divisional. Just wanted to make sure that that's Division 14 and 13, because it hasn't been noted there where some of the others have. But I'm sure Mr Taylor has noted it somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, he has, yeah. Okay, good, thanks. Well, I'll put to the vote. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry unanimous. And then we go back to Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I move that the reports of the Governance, Administration and Finance Committee held on the 4th of June, covered by recommendations 1 to 11, be received.
Second to Councillor Martin. The motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. Now, first up, is there conflict of interest, anyone? No?
Declare again.
Okay. We good? Right, so any items you want to deal separately? Yeah, Councillor Hamill?
Did we just adopt the recommendations of the first part, or did we just go straight to the next meeting?
We received it, didn't we?
We received it? Okay.
Yeah, we received it. We'll adopt it. So I'm asking if there's any items we want to...
So from the general meeting?
Did I misspoke, did I? We haven't adopted yet.
Okay, so we'll adopt everything in one hit.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
If there's nothing else, I'll go for move to adopt.
Just 6.1 then.
6.1? Yep. 6.1. Okay. I'll come to you, Councillor Hamill.
Mr Mayor, so we had a very interesting presentation discussion to committee about the new procurement policy presented from our CFO, CPO, who's here with us today. I just wanted to pull it out quickly and acknowledge, one, that this is a piece of work that's been turned around in 8 weeks by the organisation. I think that credit needs to be given to Jackie and her entire team.
I see.
For making something happen that quickly for a piece of work that for some of us who have been here for a little while have been frustrated with for some years. And just to acknowledge the fact that there were some really important points that Jackie made in her presentation around our now adopted CapEx budget of $950 million, but our $1.8 billion that we spend as a city, that a well-calibrated procurement model is where we can find savings in that.
Mm-hmm.
So really excited about what this can do, really excited to hear a CFO, CPO talking about the relationships with the industries that we need to be partnering with as well, because it's this policy in amongst other work that will make sure we get the stuff built in the city we need to.
Okay, great. All right, any other items? I'll go back to Councillor Patterson.
Mr Mayor, I move that all the recommendations be adopted.
Seconder, Councillor Martin. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry unanimous. Thank you, Jackie. We go now to 11.3, Lifestyle, Environment, Heritage and Resilient. Councillor Tozer.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I move that report to the Lifestyle, Environment, Heritage and Resilience Committee held on the 11th of June, covered by recommendations 1 to 8, be received.
Seconder, anyone? Councillor Doran, put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. So, Councillor Lacastre, you want to pull out 7.2 or you're happy?
I'm leaving it up to you.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I do have a change recommendation for 7.2.
Well, let's deal with 7.2 straight up, or
sorry, I'd be.
You happy to?
I'm happy
deal with
to.
it?
Yeah. So
okay. On that, just is there any conflict of interest in 7.2? Anyone? All right. Back to you, Councillor.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. On the screen there is the recommendation. I think on the screen that's the recommendation from committee. Is that correct? That's the old one. I actually have a new recommendation that that I would actually like to put forward. There it is. There we go. So, do you want me to read the whole thing out, Mr. Mayor? You probably do.
I think it's worth it this one round.
Sorry?
Yeah, I think we should, because it doesn't quite fit. You happy to read it or not?
Yeah, I'm happy to read it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, item 1, obviously the report attachments be deemed non-confidential except for those parts deemed by the Chief Executive Officer to remain confidential in accordance with sections 171, 3 and 200 brackets 4 of the Local Government Act 2009, that the Council notes that the sports industry is an important part of the Gold Coast and South East Queensland economy. 3, the Council notes that the LGIP-funded community sports park development at Emerald Lakes Parklands, approved in the 24-25 Council budget, will advance in a coordinated manner with a market process for a high-performance sports facility at Emerald Lakes Parklands. 4, that in accordance with Section 228 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and subject to the findings of further due diligence and market sounding, it is in the public interest to undertake a market process beginning with an expression of interest process for a new high-performance sports facility at Emerald Lakes Parklands, including exploring co-location options with other sports bodies, and B, a single high-performance sports field at the Gold Coast Sports Precinct or Emerald Lakes Parklands, and the funding responsibility, plus the most appropriate mechanism to provide access to the preferred field, either Gold Coast Sports Precinct or Emerald Lakes Parklands, and arrangements for shared use with the community. 5, that a report to Council be issued at the completion of the expression of interest process outlining the outcomes and the way forward. 6, that Council, for the reasons outlined in this report, has decided that the most appropriate method for the disposal of the land would be disposal by way of lease. 7, the Council notes that a suitably qualified probity officer will be appointed to oversee the market process. 8, that the Chief Executive Officer, based upon the evaluation report, will determine the outcome of the expression of interest process. 9, that the Chief Executive Officer does all things determined necessary to undertake the market process or otherwise give effect to the matters above. And 10, that the master plan for the Gold Coast Sports Precinct, brackets Carrara, be considered by a future Lifestyle, Environment, Heritage and Resilience Committee. So moved.
And second, Councillor Martin. All right, you want to speak further on that?
Mr. Mayor, I can.
Yeah, there's no questions, but just you speak further on that. Just
very briefly, Mr. Mayor. This is a confidential item, but the Emerald Lakes Parklands has always been earmarked, as the local community there knows, for sports facilities, and this is a way of going out to the market to get expressions of interest, to actually see who will actually end up being there. For me, the most important thing with this was the expression of interest. I actually preferred this process to a tender because it allows us to drill down and get more information rather than a concrete decision being made with a tender. And for me, if we actually just scroll down a bit, please, if we can. I can't remember which number it was about the co-location. Where is that one? somewhere. 4A, there we go. Thank you. For me, it was also important that that be explored as well. So if a particular sporting body ends up being there, that we can actually look at an opportunity to co-locate with other sporting bodies who are maybe looking for a home. And also, the most important thing for me too, one of the more important things by far, was the use of those fields. By an expression of interest, we can actually find out the actual times during the day, the days, the time of the year that those fields will be used, because this is LGIT funded and these are community fields, and I wanted to ensure that no one was just going to take total control of these fields, and these fields would be open for the community to use for recreational sport, and also as far as the pad, the elevated pad, to actually find out exactly what the floor area, of that building would be, the height and scale basically of that. So I think that this motion covers that. It puts all those checks and balances in place, and ultimately, when we do make a decision on this, it will still go back to the community for community consultation, of course. So this is just the first process, and I think that I'm far more comfortable with this process because it ticks all those boxes that I had concerns about when I originally moved that no further action be taken at the committee level.
Okay,
thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Speaking against,
can I propose a small amendment?
You can do. You can move. You can move. What is amend a motion? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a slight amendment, if it could be considered at point 7. This matter has found its way into the public domain, which is disappointing. I note that the number 7 asks for a suitably qualified probity advisor to be appointed to oversee the market process. I'd like council to have that amended to then include, and the full report from the probity advisor on the process be presented to council upon any further close of the EOI and any further process. That's fine. Probably at a subsequent meeting.
Councillor Castro, are you happy to just add it in there?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so no need for it. Yeah. Councillor Martin, you happy with that since being a seconder?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone speak against? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry unanimous. All right. Mr. CEO, can you get the gallery clear? No placard or sign allowed. So, I'll keep going. Can you just organise that?
Yep, I think.
Right, councillors, we're on 7.2. Any other items?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to quickly speak to item 6.4 and just move that recommendation.
6.4.
Yep. Mr. Mayor, at council we had a great presentation from the customer service team that are delivering the app, and it was actually announced, Mr. Mayor, at that at the meeting and in that presentation that now on the City app you can access beach information. So you can get beach reports from any of the beaches, or quite a number of the beaches across the city, and it was actually really informative. I actually know it. Obviously, all the beaches in Mudgeeraba were represented in the app, but I was actually pretty excited about the way that that had been presented to us, and that it's a really great new addition to the City app. Mr. Mayor, that's all I had to say. I just wanted to make sure that the full council was aware of some of those great improvements to our app.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people in the gallery even caught all that wonderful.
They were very excited about them, and I get it. I'm excited too, Mr. Mayor.
They're going out trying it now.
Well, look, the beaches are not far away from here, Mr. Mayor, so it'll be great.
Okay.
I might need a seconder if that's okay.
If there's no other items.
I just wanted to move that item if that's okay, and I have another matter I want to
All right, move item 6.4, seconder. Councillor O'Neill. Anyone want to speak against the app? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry unanimous.
Mr. Mayor,
back to Councillor Tozer.
I did want to deal with item 6.5 separately as well, please.
6.5.
We also, Mr. Mayor, also I'll move the item if you're happy for that.
Move. Seconder, Councillor O'Neill.
The presentation we received from the lifeguards was really informative about a phenomenal season for our lifeguards in the city. As you well know, Mr. Mayor, our lifeguards are highly regarded in our city, but also across the world. And it was announced that, and many of the community members weren't aware of this, but the Gold Coast Lifeguard Service will be travelling to Japan later this year to Kanagawa Prefecture to coordinate and help with the very first patrolled service, lifeguard service in Kanagawa Prefecture. And so the community members were really proud of the fact that the Gold Coast is not just helping save lives here in our city, but actually helping train new lifeguards in Japan. And it was a really exciting moment. There was a bit of obviously commendation from the committee members, but I know that all councillors will be interested in the fact that our lifeguard service is not just like saving lives here, but actually establishing a brand new service in Kanagawa Prefecture. We'll be looking forward to hearing more about that as time goes on.
Yes. Just for those tuning in, I don't know, the Kanagawa Prefecture has a friendship agreement with the Gold Coast, and the size Kanagawa is quite large. I'll give an example. It's right next to the prefecture, right next to Tokyo, and one of the city in there is Yokohama City, and 11 other major cities is in Kanagawa Prefecture. So when I first went there, the Governor Koroiwa was so gracious that he actually had all 11 mayors in his prefecture to come and meet me, and I was able to talk to all 11 cities in one sitting, and it was about promoting education and friendship, of course, and that's why this is so wonderful that we're doing this. And anyhow, and he's been over here numerous times, and it's fantastic. That's what friendship's about. And anyone want to speak against the motion? Anyone? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry, unanimous.
Finally, Mr. Mayor, I was hoping to deal with 7.1 separately as well.
Which one?
Item 7.1.
7.1.
So I'll just move the committee recommendation again for that, Mr. Mayor, and quickly speak to it if I can get a seconder.
Yeah, seconder, Councillor O'Neill.
Mr. Mayor, for some time the city has been particularly generous to our arts community through the Regional Arts Development Fund, and whilst Councillor Patterson's committee earlier in the meeting today, we resolved to adopt the recommendations that related to community grants and community groups. There's quite a number of arts practitioners in the city who are reliant on this Regional Arts Development Fund and similar grant programs to advance their creative activity. And as you well know, with the Hotter Precinct being established here and the rising profile of the Gold Coast as an arts hub in Australia and frankly around the world, this program we've adopted in this committee, the Arts Development Fund, will actually help continue what used to be the Regional Arts Development Fund and support artists. Now, for some listeners or watchers who may not be aware of what the Regional Arts Development Fund is responsible for before, they work on small grants of often between $3,000 and $10,000 for kind of emerging artists. And one emerging artist that was the beneficiary of a Regional Arts Development Fund grant some years ago was Amy Shark, whose second single out, it was called Golden Fleece. It won a Queensland Music Award, and Council helped fund the music video that went along with that, which helped promote her. And as we know, Amy Shark has gone on to become a bit of a megastar. We are hoping that this Arts Development Fund that will replace the Regional Arts Development Fund that we had previously will contribute very positive to the arts sector, and we can see the next superstar come through that program. But more importantly, it's not just about those big acts that take advantage of those grant funds early on, but it's about the sense of collaboration that happens between local artists and practitioners. Just most recently, a local band called Burger Joint established a kids program or a kids band called Junior Burger, and their music video has just come out, and it's called Bin Night, Mr. Mayor, and it helps the kids in our city know when they need to put their bins out for the mums and dads. And frankly, it is a great service. As a father of young boys, I'm very grateful to this Arts Development Fund for promoting to my sons they need to put the bins out on Bin Night. But frankly, this program is much more than just putting the bins out, Mr. Mayor. It's actually a really good program that will develop the next generation of artists in our city, whether they're young musicians or sculptors or theatre practitioners. It's a really exciting program, and we're very bold, and we're continuing to build that momentum that's been built over the last decade of arts investments in city infrastructure and local people. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anyone want to speak against? I like that bin night thing. So,
Mr. Mayor, I will send you the link. It's quite a catchy little tune.
Because as we embark on the ARC project with the recycling, it'd be great to getting everyone from the kids to really encourage the parents to put the recycling in the right bin as we move forward there. That would be pretty nice. Councillors, I put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, carry, unanimous. Any items separately?
There's no other items, Mr. Mayor, but I move that all the remaining items and recommendations be adopted.
All right. Seconder, who's let's have a look here.
I was Councillor Marshall, but
yeah, that's right. Councillor.
I'll second it.
Oh, all right, Councillor O'Neill. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carry. Thank you, Director. We now go to economic tourism. Yep. Thanks for that. Seconder, Councillor Flower. You move it that we receive, I guess?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, yes. I move that the report of the Economy, Tourism and Events Committee held on 11th of June 2024, recommendations 1 to 8 be received.
All right, 1 to 8 be received. Oh, just a second. All right, and seconder, Councillor Flower. All in favour, show of hands to receive it. Against, motion carry. Councillors, we'll go to 7.2, I think. Let's have a look.
Sorry, you're right.
7.2. All right, this is the music hall, councillors. I got a conflict of interest there. On the screen, councillors, I'm a director and shareholder of the company Crest Private Limited and Silk Mercantile that are part owner of the land in close proximity to the site. If you scroll that up, keep scrolling a bit more, don't they say what?
You just got to say voluntarily.
It should be lot 35 on W. So nature, can you go up to, do we have any more? To nature of conflict of interest?
No, you just need to declare your leaving because they don't have to vote on that.
Yeah, I know, but like see this bit, do I?
No.
Okay, no need.
No need to say that.
All right. Well, councillors, I'm volunteering and decide to not participate in making a decision about this matter. So I'll leave the room and call on Councillor Hamill to chair the meeting, and I'll go and check out what's happening. Can you bring your name card?
Councillors, the Mayor has now left the room, so we'll go to item 7.2. We'd note it's in closed session, so if there is questions on this item, we'll need to go to closed. No questions? In that case, we'd seek a mover for the item. Councillor Taylor, a seconder, and Councillor Peter Young. Councillor Taylor to open.
Thank you, Chair. Look, this is a procurement for the Civic Hall in Surfers Paradise. It's been long waited. It's an opportunity now for us to procure for the build of the music hall and a town centre that's been waited for a long time. So it is in confidential, but it's a great outcome for the Gold Coast, but also Surfers Paradise. So I'd like, hopefully, everyone support the recommendation.
Councillors, anyone wishing to speak against the motion? I'll provide the opportunity. Does anyone else wish to contribute at all? Councillor Tozer.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. This is an exciting proposition for our city. Did you? Is that what you just called me?
You just called me.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Acting Mayor. I mean, Mr. Acting Chair. Oh, gosh.
Just an act. Quickly forgotten.
Gosh. Councillor Hamill, please accept my apologies for incorrectly addressing you. Councillor Tate, also, I'm sure you'll watch this in return. I'm also sorry about that. The Gold Coast Civic Music Hall will be a great place for stand-up comedy, Mr. Mayor.
Oh yeah, got another good laugh. Right?
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Look, I'm actually really excited about this project. It's actually a really exciting project for the city. There is no doubt that there has been lots of conjecture about the future use of the Bruce Bishop car park in that area. And frankly, this particular Civic Music Hall is an exciting location. It's been in the public domain. We've talked about it at some length. And frankly, it is actually a very exciting project, not just for local practitioners, but for the investment that we put in attracting artists from all around Australia and the world to play in our city. Frankly, I can't wait to see this project proceed. Thanks.
Councillors, anyone else wish to make a contribution? In that case, Councillor Taylor, do you wish to close?
Thank you. And just to finalise, for the Surfers Paradise residents, the last elections, we didn't have an area for our residents to go and vote. They had to go to Southport and Broadbeach in a high-density area. This will also provide a facility for our residents to do civic duties. So we're looking forward to it.
It's great.
Councillors, I will call division on this one. All those in favour?
Councillor Hamill, Councillor Young, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Curtis, Councillor Fowler, Councillor Wilkinson, Councillor Patterson, Councillor Martin, Councillor Castro, Councillor Doran, Councillor Tozer, Councillor O'Neill.
Please note Councillor Tate did not vote. Recall the Mayor, Mr. Please.
What a faux pas.
Meeting adjourned for 5 minutes.
Is the quorum streaming on? Right. Councillor Castro, any other items you want to deal separately? Councillor Curtis does.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, I think Councillor Doran wanted to raise 7.1.
Yeah, but I'm asking you. But Councillor Curtis had her hand up.
Sorry?
For Councillor Doran, so I'll go to Councillor Curtis.
Oh, okay. Right.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to deal with 6.1.
6.1?
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I spoke against this recommendation, but as I was not a committee member, I didn't have the opportunity to vote against it. The report itself highlights the community tolerance for these types of events is vital, and I'm not convinced that an extension from 2 to 3 days over a long weekend is going to foster that tolerance. Depending on the wind direction, the noise generated, especially from this style of music.
Yeah, can you pause a second? If
Sure.
you want to speak against it, I just got to get a motion going, and
Sure.
then and the person who speaks for goes first.
Okay, thank you, Mr Mayor.
All right. For the motion, Councillor Tozer, you moved it in the thing. Did you want to still do it, or go to Councillor Castro?
I want to go to Councillor Castro.
Councillor Castro, are you happy to move the recommendation?
I'm happy to move it.
Seconder? Councillor Wilkinson? Okay. Councillor Castro, do you want to speak further, or do you want to wait till close?
Mr Mayor, I thought I was going to lapse to the want of a seconder there for a minute. Thank you, Councillor Wilkinson. Okay, all right. No, Mr Mayor, no, I won't. I'll let Councillor Curtis do a bit, and I'll close. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Curtis, against
Thank you,
the
Councillor.
motion.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Excuse my procedural error there. Yeah, so depending on the wind direction, the noise generated can have a significant impact, as it did in March for our residents in Labrador, Bigara Waters and Runaway Bay. 3 days of potential noise impacts over a long weekend is a tough ask and a very real compromise to our residents' lifestyle. Furthermore, I raise my concern regarding the loss of or severely impeded public access to the Spit over one of the best long weekends weather-wise in the Gold Coast calendar. It's certainly not news to this council that the Spit is highly regarded and, dare I say, a coveted public asset and natural resource, home to the best surf on the northern end of the coast, the best snorkelling, the best dog beach, among other favoured local activities. It is no accident that the word lifestyle comes before opportunity in the city vision, and so whilst I can appreciate the economic benefits of extending this activation within our events calendar, there is always the subjective question of striking the right balance. Is a 3-day loss of one of our favourite beaches and Broadwater locations over the spring long weekend a step too far? I believe it is, and will not be supporting this motion today.
Okay, Councillor Castro, to close.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, the economic benefit of this event is significant. I believe it's sending the wrong message as a city when we're inviting people to come here and bring their events to the Gold Coast. If we don't support events such as this, the previous Promised Lands festivals that have been held there have not been a huge number of complaints. Given the numbers that are coming in, it's actually been very minimal. I probably had far more complaints from the spilt milk one from a noise point of view. So at Carrara. So I believe that. Look, I do have concerns. I understand Councillor Curtis's concerns, and I think the committee from the debate that we had in committee had concerns, particularly with traffic. Let's face it, there's just that one road in and one road out, which is always a concern. The organisers are putting on shuttle bus services. Obviously, we've got to make sure that there are enough shuttle buses to get people in and out. That of course, is the biggest concern for me. It is a new organiser. It's the same promoter, but a new organiser coming to the table this time. And I think we need to give this a shot. And obviously, if there are major issues, look, it's in the organisers' and the promoters' best interest to make this work. And it's very good, really, that Councillor Curtis has voiced this in the public forum to send a very clear message. You need to get this right, because if you don't get it right, there's a very strong chance you won't be coming back again. I think we need to give it a shot. As I say, it's a big event, and it's certainly a value to the city, not just from a monetary point of view, but for the public who want these events. It's a lot of people are going to come here, not just locals, but a lot of people are going to be coming in from outside of here to boost the economy and to enjoy this music event. So I hope councillors will support this. And yes, with that, I'll close.
Okay. Councillor, I'll call division. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands.
Mayor Tate, Councillor Young, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Hemmel, Councillor Fowler, Councillor Wilkinson, Councillor Patterson, Councillor Castro, Councillor Doran, Councillor Tozer, Councillor O'Neill.
Against?
Councillor Curtis, Councillor Martin.
Motion carried. Right. Any other items, Councillor Doran?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move item 7.1.
7.1. Seconder, Councillor Tozer. Go ahead.
Thank you. Can I speak to it?
Yeah.
The committee received a State of the Games report in relation to the preparedness for the Olympics in 2032. I want to acknowledge the work of council officers on the report that they provided, and as the member who represents Robina and has been in the public forum that is proposed to have Olympic Village in Robina, I'm particularly interested in making sure that the outcomes that are derived from the Games do not detract from our local amenity and essentially one of the last developable portions of our city centre. So I'm very comforted that the Mayor now has a seat on the organising committee. I'm very comforted in the state of the report that we received, that the city's interests are being appropriately advocated for. I will be keeping a very close eye on this, particularly as it relates to the village, proposed village in Robina. And I appreciate the report. I look forward to more, and I move the report. Thank you.
Okay. Right, and you speak against the motion? Councillor Doran, you want to close further? No? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. Unanimous. Any other items separately, councillors? Councillor Taylor.
Thank you. It's a general business I did raise, but it does talk to 6.1, which is promised land. I think the big thing for myself and the city is we are an event city. Has it been done? Sorry, we're talking about 8.2. Sorry, 8.2, but it talks along the line. It relates to 6.1. My apologies.
So we're going to 8.2?
8.2, yes. General business.
Okay.
Thank you. This is in relation to events in our city and where we have them, how often we have them, and who the stakeholders are. What we find, for example, 6.1 that we spoke about recently, it's talking to a bit of land that we have events, but it's actually managed by Gold Coast Waterways. So in our city, we're trying to attract the best event organisations to our city, but we don't have an understanding of exactly where our venues are going to be. We don't understand we do know who the owners of those particular areas are, but give an example for Promised Land, state government will approve that site and council get left with dealing with the traffic management component of managing these events. By bringing this general business to council, what it's going to do is understand all our venues where we have events, whether it's the Southport Broad Parklands, whether it's the waterway, it's the Spit, whether it's our venues at Carrara and Robina, and recently we had one at Coolangatta. Where are our venues? How often can we have the events at those venues? How big can those spaces hold? And more importantly, ensure that the traffic management plan is put in place. Now, what we have at this situation is a traffic management plan is created when the event is approved. We create a traffic management plan. Our team work tirelessly to get the right outcome. At the end of the event, we take outcomes from it, but the outcomes go nowhere because the next event comes along, a new traffic management plan is created, and from there we model it up, and then a new provider will try and manage that traffic management plan. By doing this, our event spaces must have a predefined traffic management plan for our spaces, and from any event we have, we need to take the learnings out of it to improve the following events moving forward. The second part of it is really important. If we're going to use these spaces as event spaces, we need to ensure future funding for infrastructure is considered. Again, the spit, are we going to have one event there a year? Are we going to have 10 there a year? Is there 30,000 people? Is it 1 day? Is it 3 days? I think as a city, we want to really encourage events, but I think we need to get a bit more proactive in this space. So the general business brought forward to improve our city in relation to events. Thank you.
Anyone speak against? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Councillor Wilkinson. Now, put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Right, motion carried. Any other items? Councillor Castro.
See what happens, Mr. Mayor? You put Councillor Hamill in the chair for a few seconds and he thinks he knows everything.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to just move the remaining items, which I believe are 7.3 and 8.1, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Seconder, Councillor Tozer, put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried, unanimous. Thank you. Water, Waste and Energy, Councillor Curtis.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I move that the reports of the Water, Waste and Energy Committee held on the 13th of June 2024, covered by recommendations 1 through 4, be received.
Seconder, Councillor Wilkinson. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. Any items you want to deal separately, councillors? Councillor Curtis.
Mr Mayor, I move that all of the recommendations be adopted.
Seconder, Councillor Wilkinson. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. Unanimous. Transport Infrastructure Committee, Councillor Taylor.
Thank you. I move the report of the Transport Infrastructure Committee held on the 13th of June 2024, covered by recommendations 1 to 13, be received.
Seconder, Councillor Tozer. What's wrong?
Sorry.
We good? Yeah. To receive? I put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. Any items you want to deal separately?
I think Councillor O'Neill would want to.
Oh, do you? How do you know that? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Item 6.7, Mr Mayor.
6.7.
Mr Mayor, this was a report. First of all, can I apologise to my councillor colleagues and to you that I'm having to speak on this today because I was unable to come to the transport meeting. But I did speak at length with the General Manager and also the Chair, and the Chair was kind enough to put up a change recommendation for me. I probably just have a couple of questions about the change recommendation, and I may want to look at changing it again, Mr Mayor.
Right.
This item was in response to a petition by residents in Eleanora around Simpsons Road about lowering the speed limit on Simpsons Road from 60 to 50. And specifically because of the amount of wildlife that has been killed on that road, in and around that road. We did look at reducing the speed limit some 18 months ago. It went through the whole system and it came back, no, there was no reason to actually reduce it. So a petition was formed by a lot of the residents and saying, could we take the death of the wildlife into consideration and have a look at reducing the speed limit to 50. I support it, and I think you supported that as well, Mr Mayor. I think the petitioner wrote to you as well as me. And I could see no downside to reducing the speed limit to 50. Most of our residential roads, streets are 50. We went through the whole process again, and the report came back saying no, there was no reason to reduce the speed to 50 because, again, there was no crashes or incidents. Yes, there was an acknowledgement.
Ask the question?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, there was. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to set it up a little bit.
Because I can't let you speak on the motion.
No, that's okay. In the recommendation, it now has, can we apply to TMR to include Simpsons Road in a trial that they're also doing on Tallabudgera Creek Road about reducing the speed limit just at night. I think that we should ask TMR, could we be included in a trial, but not just at night? Because I think that's confusing to motorists. I'm just asking the question of the EGM.
Director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
You got to stand and now you can go.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Should we wish to change the speed limit to a 50 kilometre per hour permanent speed limit, we would need to go back to the Speed Management Committee. There is a meeting at the end of this month, and we would effectively present to them, I guess, seeking a special exemption around Simpson Road, given the impact on wildlife. But we'd be seeking, I guess, the best avenue would be to go to the Speed Management Committee end of month and effectively seek whether we can put a permanent 50k speed zone due to the special circumstances.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to actually change the recommendation to note that we could go back to the Management Committee for a permanent change to 50. If I get a seconder for that. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So is that a clause 5, is it?
Yeah. It's actually, Mr. Mayor, it's actually in clause
3?
In 2.
What wording do you want to put in, Councillor O'Neill?
That we actually seek a permanent change to 50 kilometres an hour for Simpsons Road in Elanora. Rather than the trial. No, you'd have to take the trial out, thank you. Two requests, thanks. So the rest could be deleted.
Do you want to mention the quality trial in there?
Just through Mr. Mayor, through to the director. This will just go straight to the committee. It will say nothing about the trial.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, this would be effectively a direct request to the Speed Management Committee, and it would have bypassed the need for a trial. So if it was approved, it would effectively be a change to speed limit.
Okay. Yep. Yes. Thank you. Could we actually include due to the number of wildlife deaths? Oh, yeah, we have. Thank you.
Can I just second that?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Do you mind if I suggest a change to number 3? The mover might want to adopt that or recommend that instead of a further speed limit review being undertaken, that we actually seek that the Department of Transport and Main Roads does update the Queensland Road Safety Technical User Volumes to include amended guidance in relation to the setting of speed limits where there is wildlife activity. So it's just asking them to review their document, which guides how speed limits are determined, and take into account wildlife activity, which currently seems not to be well taken into account. So it wouldn't be a further speed limit review, it would be that the Department of Transport and Main Roads, you can just delete those words, just delete a further speed limit review be undertaken. Sorry, Mr Mayor, we've got a duplication here. Just let the Secretary catch up. That's just a suggestion to assist with the clarity of this motion and give us some future direction in regard to other roads where we may have particularly high incidence of animal strikes. Thanks, Mr Mayor. That's for the mover to.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Mr Mayor, because I think that their own trial is the reason they're doing that because they want to update their own reasons anyway.
Mr Mayor, a question for you to Mr Carler, if I could. My reading of the report and understanding of the discussion at committee is that this had been to this speed committee before, and that without data to back up a change, that was why a trial was being suggested. So could I just get some feedback from you? If this has already been to that speed review committee and been knocked back effectively, this is just going to repeat the same thing, and then we don't have the trial happening. Are we jeopardising the position we were looking to take, which was let's get the data to then mount the argument for the speed change to occur?
Yes, through you, Mr Mayor. We will need the approval of the Speed Management Committee. There is a risk. We can't foreshadow the outcome of the committee's decision. Obviously, they will make the assessment based on the current MUTCD guidelines. They are aware that there is obviously a high impact, and particularly with koalas on this particular road, so officers would need, I guess, to seek discretion to lower the speed limit, but there may be a risk that they do reject it. My understanding of the trial being undertaken by Tallabudgera Connection Road was to provide some evidence to DTMR around the additional measures and the different day-night speed limits and additional signage, so that they might have some, I guess, factual evidence to update the guidelines to more explicitly recognise impact on wildlife.
Mr Mayor, a follow-up question then. So if we could just run that through, if this got up and that you did take it to that review committee and they knock it back, we then don't have the trial to fall back on. So what would be the mechanics that if we do put this up and they say no, we then also don't have the trial mentioned anymore? Would you have to come back to us to then recommence the trial, therefore wasting some time?
Through you, Mr Mayor, we would effectively seek to proceed with the trial, but Council may want to consider, should that be rejected outright in terms of a permanent speed limit, that we still have the option to, I guess, as Plan B, go through the trial as per the original motion.
And Mr Mayor, that's where I was looking to. Does this motion as proposed allow you to do that, or would you have to bring back a further report to then commence the trial?
Whilst it's not stated explicitly in the motion, I think the intent from Council is clear, and with discretion, I think at officer level we could effectively proceed on that basis if the Council were happy with that approach.
Councillor Taylor.
I just think I need a bit more clarification. We've gone through the process. Councillor Hamill did ask the question, and are we saying the consideration that we'll do this time around didn't happen the first time around, or are we saying this consideration did happen, and we're just coming back. It could come back again. So it's just a clarification. The process we did the first time, we're considering now, is there a different course that we're going to go down in relation to the consideration that could change this outcome?
Through the Mr. Mayor, the only difference to my knowledge in this would be obviously that the trial has now commenced. There's obviously a greater awareness of some of the environmental impact in this region, and that similarly we've got some additional data to go back to the Speed Management Committee with.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, there was another point. Just in regards to point 3, as it's currently presented, that reads as a direction we're giving the state government, and I don't believe we have that power.
Be requested, we should say.
Yeah, so maybe this needs to be a word change from the mover to allow point 3 to be a reasonable request.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. If we could just say that the Department of Transport and Main Roads be requested to update. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'll be brief. I just don't see any downside to not doing this and doing everything we possibly can to save wildlife, especially in this area, Mr. Mayor. And I certainly take my hat off to Mr. Kaler's team. They have actually added some measures along that road to help that as well. But we've got the highest amount of wildlife kill on the coast on that road. So I thank my councillor colleagues if they're supporting me on this, because I think it's very, very important, especially in our critical corridor. Okay.
Okay. Councillors, the debate's closed. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried, unanimous. Any other items you want to deal separately, councillors? Councillor Patterson.
7.1 to speak to it, Mr. Mayor.
7.1. You want to move the motion? Move. Seconder. Councillor Taylor. Councillor Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Gates, who's not here today, will be very supportive of this committee recommendation as well. She and I both championed that we see a review of how we manage these contracts. And I have to say, after the summer, and I know there was certainly a lot of things we had to deal with, but with qualities that our residents and ratepayers weren't happy with, I wasn't quite sure how much we would get back and how much would change. I really want to acknowledge the director and his team for the really specific, pragmatic work that he's done in these contracts, which I'm really clear will result in a far better level of service, particularly in wet weather environments. So we've now got very specific KPIs on what do you do if it is too wet to mow, and what their obligations are to make sure that things are in order, because there are alternative ways of maintaining it. It's a small and simple one, but it's one that really significantly impacts on amenity if we don't get it right. People can't enjoy their parks. People can't enjoy their sports fields. So thank you, and we look forward to sharing more once contracts are finalised.
Councillors, anyone to speak against? You want to close further? Debate's closed. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. It's unanimous. Councillor Martin?
Just a conflict, Mr. Mayor, on 6.3.
6.3, okay.
I just have a declarable conflict, which was receipt of a petition, but specifically mentions Marabba Street, and I have a close family member that lives on Marabba Street, my auntie and uncle. My auntie, Desley Moore, is my mum's identical twin, so just for clarity, in case there was any perception that it was my mum. Look, I think the interest in the outcome is minor and remote, and I don't think it's a temporary measure around whilst we're doing some seawall works. There is a petition around diverting traffic flow. So, but in an abundance of caution, I wanted to declare the conflict, but I am seeking to stay in the room in the decision to at least receive the petition.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Procedural motion, Councillor Hamill.
Mr Mayor, the one that's just popped up on the screen, I would be happy to move.
Okay, seconder. Councillor Taylor. Anyone speak against? The motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. Councillor Martin did not vote and stay in the room. Councillor Hamill? That's a good point. I did it in my head. Okay, we've voted on it. Just remind us how you vote. All right, for the record, show of hands for.
Mayor Tate, Councillor Young, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Curtis, Councillor Hemmel, Councillor Fowler, Councillor Wilkinson, Councillor Patterson, Councillor Castro, Councillor Doran, Councillor Tozer, Councillor O'Neill.
Against? Motion carried. And Councillor Martin did not vote.
Councillor.
Right. Let's deal with 6.3. Since we've just done...
Mr Mayor, I moved it to committee. I'm happy to move it again.
Second to Councillor Taylor. Anyone speak against? Put it to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. Any other items, councillors? Councillor Doran.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. 6.4, I'd like to move and speak to it, please.
6.4. Move the...
The committee recommendation?
Yes.
Seconder, Councillor Tozer.
You're on.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to acknowledge the petition from local Robina residents that was submitted to request planting of vegetation along the section of Robina Parkway to alleviate traffic noise due to the recent removal and also the recent removal of the dilapidated fence. The reason why I'm specifically speaking to this one is because the petition has not only been led by community, which is great to see them involved in bettering our community, but it's also already been actioned by the city officers as noted in the report. So it's both received and actioned, and I'm very grateful to both the community and the city to actioning it so quickly.
We better vote for it then. Anyone want to speak against? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. All right. You okay with that, man? Councillor Marshall's here. Any other items? Councillor Taylor? No? All right, I'll go to Councillor Taylor.
I move all the remaining recommendations be adopted.
Okay. Seconder, Councillor Wilkinson. Right, put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. Thank you, Director. Consideration notice of motion. Neil, am I right? Neil. Question on notice. Neil. Number 14, presentation of petitions. Councillor Patterson, you go first.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I move that the petitioner from lead petitioner Anne Weddell regarding events at the southern lawn area of Broadwater Parkland be received.
Seconder, Councillor Tozer. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. 14.2. I'll do this one. Councillors, I move that the petition regarding withdrawing of sister city relationship with Netanya Israel be received and referred to committee for consideration and report to the local government, which is us. Yes.
Which committee would it be referred to, if you don't mind me asking? Relating to sister city relationships. It's managed with the Office of the Mayor, so I'm just not sure.
I think we'll take it to governance. You'd be happy with that?
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Okay, governance. That's a tough committee to get through. All right. Seconder, Councillor Peter Young. All right. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. We're laughing at different things, I can tell you. 14.3, request for council for parking on verge at Mary Lane, Creston at Merrimack. Who's moving this one? Councillor Castro?
It's me, Mr. Mayor. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a petition, about 50 names on here, about a request to council to allow to park on the verge at Mary Lane Crescent, Merrimack, and ask that this be referred to the appropriate committee. Thank you.
Seconder.
Councillor Taylor, I think. Yeah.
Councillor Tozer. Seconder. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against, motion carried. General business. Councillor Curtis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the general business item is on the screen, and if I can get a second, I'll speak to it.
All right. Seconder, Councillor Flower. You have to read out the motion.
Okay, so the city officers undertake a review of the current approach and provide potential options to permit Paradise Point businesses to lawfully display and store goods on the footway in front of their premises. Item 2, that a report be brought back to a future planning and regulation committee.
Okay, please speak to it then.
By means of thank you, Mr. Mayor. By means of bringing councillors up to speed on the history of this item, in January this year, city officers, after responding to a complaint, issued a compliance direction to the Paradise Point Fruit Market to remove their fruit displays from the shop frontage, which is council-owned footpath overlooking Grice Avenue. The fruit displays have formed an important visual element of the streetscape for at least the last 30 years, and it is not the first time their usage has been raised either publicly through the media or within this chambers. In July 2008, Council, having recognised the unique nature of the fruit market specific to the local context, resolved that a report be brought back to the relevant committee specifically dealing with the placing of food, i.e. fruit and vegetables, on the footway where it contributes to the ambience of the village atmosphere in Paradise Point and similar village locations. According to our records, a report was never provided, and the business continued to operate with fruit and veg displayed on the footpath for the following 16 years without incident. According to the current owners of the fruit market, the compliance direction has cost the business significant revenue, and the market was closed Monday last week and remains closed while they review their current business model. I've raised my intent to tender this GB with the Paradise Point Progress Association, who unanimously supported the reintroduction of the display of fruit and veg. I urge councillors to support this recommendation with consideration of both the affected small business and the desired atmosphere their roadside displays reinforced.
Okay. Councillor Hamill.
Mr. Mayor, I'm very happy to support Councillor Curtis's GBI, but I'm just wondering if it would be appropriate to make an indication to the CEO and to the EGM of Planning and Regulation that I think in reviewing this in a report coming back, that considering this item across the whole city as well, that this is very specific to Paradise Point, but I think a report's going to come back to the committee, look into local law, let's look at it everywhere.
He's happy to do that.
Thank you.
Right. Anyone speak against the fruit and veggie? Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Carry unanimous. Okay. Other business, 16.1 on the screen. Councillors, I move the recommendation. Seconder. You're not going to second it?
I have to second it, and then I have an amendment.
No, I'll get another seconder if you're going to have an amendment.
I'm happy to second this motion, and then I'll ask for an amendment.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Seconder, Councillor Tozer.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to second it, but I also have an amendment. I'd love to just move an amendment, which is exactly the recommendation, but with an adjustment to item 16 in the policy to add E, which should read universities based in the Gold Coast local government area.
There'll be an amended motion.
Yes.
Okay. You can cut and paste all of that. That's an amended motion. Right, okay. Seconder for the amended motion, Councillor Peter Young. Councillor Tozer, speak for.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The policy makes provision for professional development to be made available to councillors. At section 15, it talks about the mayor and councillors are permitted to undertake professional development with costs reimbursed from the respective office budget. At the moment, section 16 identifies 4 entities or groups of entities that might be able to provide that professional development. One is the City of Gold Coast, another is the Queensland Government, the third is the Australian Institute of Company Directors, the fourth is the Local Government Association of Queensland, and I am proposing in my amendment to include universities located within the Gold Coast local government area. The cap on such training or professional development will remain at clause 31, which identifies the professional development budget to be 4576, which is the budget cap for any sort of professional development. But the intent of this amendment is to ensure that we are remaining not in contradiction of competitive neutrality provisions that are legislated, and making sure that appropriate university institutions can be considered in the same way as the Australian Institute of Company Directors or the Local Government Association of Queensland. That's my intent, and whilst I don't have any sort of chance to necessarily benefit from it, there has been some historical situations where this may have benefited me and the city in undertaking professional development, but my professional development has drawn to a close. But I still think councillors in this chamber should not be prevented from engaging the high-quality tertiary institutions that are based in our local government area to provide services that the Australian Institute of Company Directors or the Local Government Association of Queensland would otherwise provide. Okay. That's my opening remarks.
Anyone want to speak against the motion? I'll go to Councillor Tozer to close.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I appreciate you deferring to me to close. That's very kind of you. Frankly, I think this is an important step for us to undertake. I note that there has been some other adjustments made in the motion that we're considering today, but this, I think, shows the council's support for our university sector. That's actually critically important to us. I think Griffith University is a world-leading university in its area of expertise. Southern Cross University is leading Australia in the areas that they undertake, and Bond University has some of the best and amazing entrepreneurial focused activity in their education sector. And frankly, the sheer diversity of the work that we undertake as councillors gives me confidence that we could go to any one of those institutions and seek professional development courses from them. This would not necessarily cover the whole cost of any sort of matter, but it would be exactly what we might pay any other organisations such as the Local Government Association of Queensland or the Australian Institute of Company Directors, and makes us set a standard for competitive neutrality when we try and say we should be able to go to whoever is going to provide the best training and the most suitable training for the type of education or professional development that a councillor may seek as they're seeking to do their job better. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
The debate's closed. Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. The amended motion now becomes a motion. Councillor Tozer, would you like to speak on the motion?
Mr Mayor, just for those watching, this policy effectively covers some reasonable expenses that councillors might incur in undertaking their jobs. Things like, in our busy schedule of the day, we might share a meal with a community group leader who's running the local football club, and we might cover that cost of that meal just to thank them for their volunteering. It might be a charity dinner where we might go to a charitable organisation to buy a ticket to that sort of thing, and that this policy covers those sort of expenses that we incur. It also covers other expenses and captures things like the vehicle that we drive around with all day. I don't think anyone at this table would spend less than kind of 50 or 60 hours a week working in our job. Frankly, there are times where the job feels thankless, but it's important that our reasonable expenses be covered, and this policy helps us do that. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Speaking against the motion? Okay, close. Councillor Tozer?
Nothing, Mr Mayor.
Put the motion to you. All in favour, show of hands. Against? Motion carried. Mr CEO, is there any other items?
No.
Councillors, the meeting closed at 11:53, but after I close the meeting. Streaming off, Council.